Rock off, dog.
And then we're starting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Your Princess is Problematic.
Here at YPIP, we dive deep into the movies we enjoyed in our childhoods.
That we're being forced to watch again through the eyes of our childs.
Or that my best friend's childs make me watch.
And we watch these with nostalgia goggles on.
And then we dissect them and rip them to shreds.
With our adult brains for your adult enjoyment.
And we also like to throw a bone at you superhero fans.
And also you other nerds.
We definitely keep up with all the new Disney theatrical releases as well.
And sometimes we don't follow our own rules and throw in a random adult movie because, we don't even give a fuck.
Yes. And that fruity, husky, modulated voice is Jess.
That smoky, plummy, honeyed voice is Nikki.
And I'm Thomas.
And this week we're talking about, drumroll please, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix!
Dumbledore!
Dumbledore!
I'm a bird that bursts into flames, I guess.
Yes, it is Harry Potter time once again,
Yes.
everybody.
The 5th installment in our mini-series in the Pimsman.
The Pimsman.
The Pimsman.
Yes. It's our wizarding installment.
Yes.
Of the Pimsman.
Oh, we're on like the downhill decline of our Pimsman. Like we're coming down on the series. We're almost done with this series.
Yeah, there's, 2 movies left after this one?
3, right?
Well, technically 3, but only
There's
because
2
the last
books.
one's split into 2 parts.
2
Yes.
books and 3 movies?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
correct.
Shall we re-explain to the people how we are going about these this mini-series? Like what our method of madness is?
Harry Potter series is a little bit unique in that we're all at different levels of Potterness. Potterdom.
Potterdom.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have read the books since I was a young youth.
As the books came out, you read you were at the books, the releases.
Yeah.
You were nipping at the bud.
Yeah. I was a Harry Potter fan before they were moving out.
Oh, so you're like a Harry Potter hipster. That's what we should have called you, the Harry Potter hipster.
The HP hipster, yeah.
HP
that's
hipster,
true.
yes.
And I watched the movies as they came out.
At the
And
midnight
Nikki?
releases. I did not watch the movies or read the books, even though they were happening at the same time as Jess. Wait, how do I say that? Jess and I are the same age, and I refused. I refused to be a part of that situation. I was like, no, thank you. I'm not gonna do Harry Potter. So I am reading the books now as a grown assman, and am almost 33 and journeying through them now, and just finished reading the 5th book. So as I am reading the books, we are watching the movies. So I am seeing the movies for the first time, having just read the book. So that is my character in the series. And Thomas.
And I have had 0 experience whatsoever with anything Harry Potter related, and I'm only just now watching the movies and haven't read the books at all yet.
Yay!
His viewpoint is honestly the cutest of all of them. If you want to listen to one character, it's Thomas, everybody. If you're here for somebody's perspective, it's Thomas.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So, guys,
Yes.
I don't want to make a huge deal out of it because this has been the case for our past few episodes with the coronavirus and such. But I just want to know, because we're how long into our quarantine?
This is week 3?
Yeah.
Is it week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, is it really week 3?
This is week 3 of the
week
quarantine, and we've been told that we're going to be in quarantine for another 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The end of April.
Yep.
Robert just texted me that in Washington that they've been told that they are extended out to May 5th for their quarantine now.
Wow.
too.
Cinco de Mayo quarantine party.
So I'm guessing that if Washington's going to be out into May, I bet we're going to get extended as well.
Yeah,
So-
since we've been hit
Yeah.
fairly hard, yeah, I would imagine.
And some other states are just now shutting shit down. Like my friends that are
Florida?
yeah, Florida, hello. My friends that live in Arizona are just now shutting down. I'm like, somebody just posted, they're like, oh, our gyms are closing. What am I going to do? And I'm like, fuck off. I haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks and I'm dying. Like, ugh. You guys have been living normal lives. I hate you all. That's all. And also
Yeah,
shame on the other half of the
I was just
country.
wondering how week 3 of quarantine was treating you.
Getting a little stir crazy.
Very much.
Are you?
Yes.
Thomas,
Well-
has the novelty of working from home worn off?
A little bit. It's a little limiting. I haven't really figured out 100% my workflows again with not being at my work computer, but it's not bad. I think I'm probably gonna have to go back into the office to get a couple things that I forgot, but it's not terrible.
Nikki, how's week 3 treating you?
Not gonna lie.
I would say working from home, but you're doing the opposite of what you usually do.
Yes.
And not working at all.
Not working at all. I'm getting very sad and very depressed. And I'm definitely somebody who keeps her head up high most of the time and I feel like I'm very good at keeping my head up and being like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. And I'm feeling not fine anymore. And I'm hoping that because the weather is getting nicer and it's going to be easier to go outside, that going outside is going to make a big difference. Because like every time ask Thomas when it's been like 45 degrees out, I'm like, we're going outside. And Thomas is like, it's 45 degrees out. I'm like, that's warmer than 30. Let's go outside.
I do feel like being able to go out on walks is helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girls.
Just to get out of the house.
Yeah. The babies are making me sad though, because the girls don't understand. The babies want to see everybody. The girls are asking to talk to everybody on FaceTime. My mom, did I tell you my mom stopped by last week to drop off face masks and hand sanitizer, and like she stayed on the back porch, like she didn't come in. And Evie was like, I want you to come in. And my mom was like, I can't. And Evie was like, what? Like Evie was like really upset, and Scarlett, they were like really bummed, like they didn't get it. And yeah. How about you? How are you feeling?
Well, I find myself feeling very similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am prone to depression anyway.
Right.
But usually, like, my one motivation is, like, hanging out with the few people I like.
Hey, man. Right? Jeez.
Yeah.
And so without that, all I want to do with my free time is lay in bed and sleep and be sad.
Yep.
But my mom is working from home, and so she makes me get up and pretend to be productive.
That's good.
It's weird because my mom is here working from home, and so she has her same hours.
Right.
And then I'm also, still working, so I have my hours, and usually it works out really well as far as like us being roommates goes. 'Cause
Right.
she's gone for the, middle of the day, and I have the house to myself and quiet time and stuff like that. And then I leave, and she gets the house to herself in the evenings.
Right.
And so now I don't get any time to myself.
Right.
And I may have told her to go fuck herself the other day.
Oh, no.
So it's going really well.
Some roommate drama happening over there.
Railroad, road rules. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Did you say railroad?
I was trying to say real world, but I also wanted to say road rules, and I mixed it into one reality show, which I think at one point it was the same.
That would be to be fair, that would be a dope ass reality show. Everyone is just stuck on a train the whole time.
Yeah, I can understand the roommate thing. I told Thomas what was earlier this winter. I told Thomas that I said, because like when I leave for a gig like in Howell or something like that, I'll take the girls with me, and like Thomas will get to have like the house to himself for like a 3-day weekend or something like that, and I'll be like, get some stuff done, but guess who gets to play ships for the weekend and stay up late and do whatever he wants. And I pointed out to him, I'm like, I never get to just have me just in the house by myself for the weekend ever. Like, I never just get me time. And so I told him, I was like, gosh, I said, I would love if before face painting season starts, I would love it if like you and the girls just fucking left and just fucked right off for like 3 or 4 days and we're just gone, and I could just have the house to myself for like 3 days. And then the other day I said to him, I was like, remember that vacation I was talking about, how I would just love to have? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, this is the opposite of that. He was like, yes, I know. And he's like, and I will facilitate that for you as soon as that is possible. I'm like, please do, because none of the face painting is happening, but you're all here.
Right.
Anyway.
I know. Yeah.
The end.
Tensions are high, but we're doing great.
Tensions are high. Wash your freaking hands. Let's all get better, and I need some money. Okay.
Yeah. It's time.
'Tis time. Simba.
So just a couple facts before we get into it. Mostly just, general. This is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Yes.
In case you blacked out between our intro and now. We're talking about... Oh, this movie was released in 2007.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
I feel like it's newer than that.
We were out of high school.
Okay.
Wasn't the one before this in 2005? There's 2 years between these movies. I mean, Harry is like 2 years hotter.
I was going to say, can't you tell by looking at the kids?
Harry looks like 2 years hotter.
They do look noticeably older in this movie.
They have grown up quite a lot, yeah.
It's his neck. Like his neck area looks hotter. Is that weird to say?
It is kind of weird, yes.
I mean, yes, it is weird to say, but also...
But if that's what you're into, then I guess that's fine.
I like a hot neck.
Jesus Christ.
Go on.
So this was the longest book of the series.
Yes, it was. Jesus.
Interesting.
But the second shortest film.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really complaining about. Because I feel like I feel like in the other movies, a lot of stuff happens. Mm-hmm. And in this one, it's just kind of a simple, like a to B to C kind of thing. So.
Yeah, like a little joyride with some exposition thrown in.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was also the biggest first day gross of a Harry Potter movie.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the first to be released in IMAX 3D.
I find that interesting just because the last movie was so bad.
You didn't like the last one?
I did not like the last one.
I don't remember you not liking the last one.
His favorite is still the second one.
Oh, well, that might change now.
It might. Oh.
I know, right?
Hot takes. All right. So, this movie was also... We have our next change in director with this one, but also the last change in director. This is the newest and final director of the rest of the movie is David Yates.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, so the cursed director changing.
Is this person also British?
Yes.
All right. I think we should do all the Harry Potter episodes. We should do all of our Harry Potter episodes in British accents because this movie was full of really hard British accents, and I had a really hard time understanding all of the British accents in this one. It's like they spoke extra hard British in this one.
They stepped the British up to 11 in this movie.
See, even Thomas agrees that the British was hard in this one, and Thomas is like extra British.
They were speaking fluent British.
They were speaking fluent British. They were extra British in this one.
What? It's true.
It's extra British. You didn't notice the extra British?
No.
It's because you've seen it before.
Sounded appropriately British to me, I guess. I didn't realize they'd put some extra British stank on it.
They put extra
It was
British.
super extra British stanky.
British.
British.
We'll start with the newest of the bunch.
I'm the new.
Thomas.
I accept it. Yes.
Yeah, up till now, your thoughts have been that the second one was your favorite. And...
Yeah, I would say I've not been very impressed with the movies up to this point. I would say the second movie has been my favorite, but I actually really enjoyed this one.
Good.
I liked the simplified plot, and also I thought that the direction was much better. It was weird because like all of the plot and stuff was better, but I thought like the CG took a huge step back from the last movie.
Yes, I would agree with you there.
But like overall, I think I don't. It might be my favorite one so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's all.
Yucky.
Yellow. So,
Yellow.
I was...
Wait, could you say that more British, please?
Hello, governors. I'm very disappointed to report that I ate my last crumpet for breakfast this morning. Thus, I'm out of English muffins, which is what a crumpet is. Did you know that? That's what a crumpet is English muffins.
Yeah.
Did you? When I learned that, my mind was blown, actually. I was like, really? That's why we call it English muffins?
It's like a beautiful mind when all of the formulas and algorithms start going around his head.
Yeah, that's seriously what it was. Okay, so this book for me, I need to like pause my timing in reading these books between my reading the books and when we watch the movies, first of all, because I finished this book a little bit after we got home from Disney, I think. So I had finished it in the middle of February, and we watched this movie this past week at the end of March. So there was like a month before we watched it. And so I literally finished watching the movie, and I was like, whoa, I don't remember what happened at all at the end of the book because things were a little different. And I even texted Jess. I was like, did this change? I don't even I had to Google stuff. So,
I heard her watching the Dominic Noble.
Yeah, I had to watch
on this movie.
Yeah, I had to watch him just because I couldn't remember some stuff. So I did not like this book. I said it. I didn't like it. And I mean, I told you that after I finished reading it, Jess. This book was boring. I thought this book was very just felt like a book about just moseying along through a year of Hogwarts, and just we kind of found out this little bit, and we kind of found out that little bit, and we kind of learned this little bit, and we kind of learned that little bit. It was literally just a year of, hey, let's make sure that we let everybody in the Harry Pottering world know that all the kids that are around Harry's age are actually good at Defense Against the Dark Arts now, because they've probably sucked at it up until now because they've all had shitty Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers. And this Umbridge lady sucks, which she does. And yeah, overall, I thought the book was kind of boring. And the whole book, I knew Sirius was going to die. The whole book, I knew he was going to die. So when he died, I wasn't surprised by it. It didn't make me sad. And yeah, so I kind of went into this movie not really expecting to care for the movie. And I actually surprisingly enjoyed the movie more than the book. I thought that the way that they adapted it made it much more interesting than the way that the book read, for sure. But with that being said, there was definitely stuff that they changed and left out that I was kind of like, well, I mean, you could have put that stuff in to make things a little bit more interesting. So some of it, I don't know. Overall, movie was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the fourth book's definitely been my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie's my favorite still.
Okay.
I don't think I have a favorite movie yet. Because the fourth, I don't, there were some things about the fourth movie that I wish were a little bit better than what had been read in the book. But I think maybe the fourth movie might be my favorite still at this point.
Okay.
Maybe?
That's fair.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, how about you, Jessica? What was your, as a youngling, what was your history with this book / movie?
So, with this movie, I was living in Flushing. And I only remember that because this movie, as I read and put down in my facts, came out. The movie was released 10 days before the last book came out.
Oh, really?
And I remember that I was living in my my family's condo in Flushing when I read the last book. So I'd been living in Flushing at that point. I actually ended up texting Cheryl tonight because I was like, okay, I have a memory of what I think was us seeing this Harry Potter movie, but I don't know for sure if it was this one. And she was like, yeah, it is. So her younger brother Brandon, his girlfriend, and I all went to go see this midnight release at the Trillium Theater in Grand Blanc.
I've been there.
Yeah. And I remember that the trailer for Twilight played during this movie because a bunch of fangirls behind us were like squealing.
Gross.
And Brandon turned around and just roasted him. And it was the first time, I think, that I hadn't seen it in an MJR theater.
Yeah.
And so I remember, like, before the credit, like, as the lights were dimming, I was like, and I, like, hurried and sang the, come on, have a party with Hollywood. As fast as I could, and, like,
to yourself, yeah.
To do. And the people next to me were like,
the fuck?
what in the shit?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so that was going to see it. I think that I, for the most part, liked this movie when I first watched it. There were some things that I wish that they had maybe put more thought into, but I thought it was a very pretty movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will agree with upon this watch, I will agree with Thomas that the CGI took a major backstep, but that I think it's probably one of the better directed movies. Like, the cinematography.
Yeah.
It
is really pretty. Yeah, it is really.
Yeah, and I thought that all of the actors did phenomenal jobs, especially compared to how they've been in the past with the kids.
I didn't have any problems with any of the acting performances.
No, everybody did fantastic.
Yeah.
So
all of the kids have gotten much better over the movies.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And hotter. Their necks have gotten so much hotter.
Listen, look at Daniel Radcliffe in HP 4 versus HP 5, and look at just his freaking neck, and you tell me what you think. I'm gonna post a picture of his neck. I'm gonna put it up on a vote, and I'll get one like from Face Painting Robot.
Oh my god. We'll do a neck comparison.
Social media, that shit.
Yeah.
All right, so we open up, not quite on Privet Drive, but almost.
We open up with a bunch of people in shiny shirts that I didn't really understand what was happening.
Thomas didn't understand what was happening. He didn't know it was Dudley. And he goes, that's Dudley?
I was like, who the fuck are these assholes?
And I was like, what, you don't recognize Gangster Dudley?
Dudley's neck has also gotten hotter, so...
I'm like,
you see how you wouldn't recognize them.
I'm like, do you not realize that Dudley's album's dropping next fall? And like,
and then I was like, wait, that's Dudley?
Yeah, dude. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yep, so we open up on the playground, and yes, Dudley and his crew, his band, are bullying Harry, because of course they are.
Yeah.
In typical Dudley fashion.
I thought this was going to be a dream sequence.
It does look very dream sequency.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that look like they are a dream sequence, but are not.
The lighting is very muted.
Yeah.
And you're right, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah, like this isn't the first time I thought that we were in a dream sequence to find out that there aren't any in this movie. So I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I thought this was going to be like a T2 type dream sequence, like End of the World kind of thing.
That's because of the merry-go-round or the
Also, yeah, it was like
stuff.
because we're in a playground and it was like I think the lighting or whatever. So yeah, I thought it was a dream sequence, but it wasn't.
It does look very T2 at that. I see what you're doing there. Yeah.
So the boys get attacked by a couple of Dementors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so once again, Harry is getting singled out by Dementors.
Right, yes. And Harry saves the day, of course. He casts his Patronus and saves the day.
Except it doesn't look like a stag.
Well,
No.
he explains during his lessons that sometimes it doesn't look like an animal, just the most powerful version does.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, though.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
No, we're still in the freaking water duct, and my favorite character, Mrs. Fig,
Right.
comes in. I love her so much, and I can't remember what her exact quote was, but at some point she was like, you're a smart kid, or something like that. Something along those lines, like, I was told you were an intelligent boy. And I just wrote down, I don't know who told you that, but they fucking lied to your face.
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything for the opening scene?
Yeah.
Does so the Dementor attack happens in the books too?
Yes.
Because you said during the third movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban, that the Dementors don't single out people like that.
Yes, I do have an explanation for you later that the movie does not give you.
Yeah, the movie doesn't tell you why the Dementors come.
Okay.
I mean, you could tell it.
I mean, it makes sense in the movie verse because they have singled out Harry before in the movies.
Yeah.
So I guess.
And you kind of don't know if it's. I can see where you would be confused. Like, is that what happens in the book, or is this director continuing what the previous directors have done?
Right.
Yeah. There's
also so at the end of the fourth, Voldemort is back, and what's happening at the beginning of this book is that Harry is basically he's listening for the news every single night in the living room. Well, he's actually laying outside of the house, outside of the window, because the Dursleys won't let him listen to the news. And he's listening for abnormal things happening in the news to try to hear if Voldemort is attacking humans or muggles or whatever and stuff like that. So at this point, Harry thinks that it's just Voldemort sending Dementors to him. But they don't explain that really either. So that's what Harry thinks happened. But it's not.
Okay.
That's what, as an audience, I think they want us to think also.
Right. So, again, as in our last one, I'm not going to go too much into non-necessary book comparisons. Right. So, for those of you looking for, a full adaptation analysis, that's not what this is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm essentially just going to be telling Thomas facts that he is going to need to know either to understand what happened in this movie or to understand what is going to happen in future movies.
However, after Thomas does read all of the books, we may do a second visit on all of these movies as full adaptation discussions for our Patreon episodes, just so you all know later.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you might, I don't know if you need to know it, but it's questions that you've asked before, Thomas.
Okay.
And so I'm going to tell you. In this book, in this chapter, Harry tries to warn the Dursleys about Voldemort's return, and they're so pissed off about him talking about magic that Aunt Petunia tries to kick him out of the house. And she gets a howler, which is one of those
the letters
that screams at you. Yeah, she gets one from Dumbledore, telling her to remember their agreement or something along those lines, or remember what he told her or something. And so she backtracks and she lets Harry stay. And later,
Wait, yeah.
In this book, we find out from Dumbledore that the reason that Harry lived his attack or survived his attack from Dumbledore is that his mother's love protected him
From the Dementors.
Some sort of,
or from Voldemort,
yeah,
you mean?
From Voldemort. And so
the love that's in his skin.
Yeah, so it's, since Petunia is Lily's sister, like, they share blood relation, the thought is that he will be safest with her. Closest to his blood connection to his mother.
So that's why why they're forcing him to live in an abusive home.
Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
She's like home base, so he has to touch home base once every so often to be safe before he leaves.
Yeah,
again,
to essentially refill
his love in his skin
protection
tank.
spell. That's,
basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a little contrived, but
Yeah.
it is an explanation to a question that I know you've asked in the past.
All right.
I forgot that didn't come up in the movie just until you just now said that. I'm like, oh yeah, there's something else they left out.
Then Harry gets kicked out of school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he sure does. And the Order of the Phoenix, some of the Order of the Phoenix arrives to break him out for the rest of the
Yeah.
And you know what? When I was reading this book and we met Tonks in the book, I texted you and I was like, I like this character so much and she seems so cool and blah, blah, blah. And I was really disappointed that she had such a teeny tiny part in the movie when we met her.
She really
and I was like,
nothing.
oh, she's not like even really in the movie. And that was kind of a bummer. She seemed really, really cool.
Yeah.
And
she's the actress that plays Osha from Game of Thrones. Also,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she's actually a fan favorite. She's a lot of people's favorite character from the book.
Oh yeah.
And she's definitely one of the characters who really got the shaft for the movies, because it doesn't get any better from here on out.
Oh.
You never get to know her in the movies.
That sucks.
Yeah, they do that to a lot of women characters in particular.
Interesting.
Yes.
Because
McGonagall also gets the shaft a lot.
Yeah, McGonagall's in the books a ton, and she's barely in the movies. In the movies.
She's like one scene in this movie.
Yeah, she's like barely in this movie too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually, and she has a lot of badass moments in the book.
Yeah. For sure.
And she's not even in this movie.
Yeah.
So the Order arrives.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but this was my first laugh of the watch, because they're getting ready to take off and leave, and Moody says, like, this super intense, serious, like, shit's getting real line. He says, "Don't break ranks if one of us gets killed."
Yeah.
And then immediately after, they take off, and this, like...
It's just a jaunty flight through England. Through London.
A jaunty tune plays. Can I tell you the direct quote from my...
the subtitle description of the music?
The subtitle description of the song was... rousing adventure theme.
Yep. I noticed that
Did
also.
You see
that? I almost pointed it out, but I was like, that's how they always describe music in movies, right?
Yeah, he's like, if one of us gets fucking murdered, don't move a muscle.
Yeah. And then they just and then they just go for a joyride on their brooms down the Thames. I'm 100% positive at least 3,000 people saw them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's not the first time they go down the Thames in the broad, like, early evening.
I know.
Oh,
yep.
Geez.
Yeah. So that was my first laugh of the night, and it was a big one.
Yeah.
That song caught me really off guard.
I love what subtitle music is described as what music is described as in the subtitles. That's one of
music, and then like when they make some sort of noise,
like a tone
grunt or like a noise of dissent or something. And Incredulous noise.
Right. The first time I noticed that was when I watched the show 24 for the first time. We had it on DVD. We had like a whole season on DVD. Like we had rented it we watched it on like vacation or something, and it was like a rainy day. We put it in and we had subtitles on because the TV we had was like so quiet. And that was the first time we'd ever watched something with subtitles, I think, as a family. And we saw like what the subtitles were calling music. And my dad and I were just dying laughing at like what they were calling like the subtitle music. And I was like, is this how they've always described music? And this always been something I've enjoyed. Anyway, moving on.
So we arrive at Grimald Place, the hidden building.
This was kind of cool how the building stretched. I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the Black family household.
Yeah, so this is Sirius's house.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we arrive and the adults kind of ghost Harry.
Right.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But it's fine because
like,
the twins are to the rescue.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're here. Bye.
Yeah.
This, in the book and in the movie, this was all really confusing to me because Harry gets upstairs and he's like, why wouldn't everybody tell me what's going on? Blah, blah. I'm so grouchy. I'm so angry. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's telling me anything. And Harry and Ron and Hermione are just like, we wanted to tell you, but Dumbledore told us not to. And everyone told us not to. And like, Harry's just like pissed at everybody. And then he's doing it in the movie too. And I'm just like, why is he so, I feel like he's angry for I feel like he's unnecessarily angry with everybody at the beginning of the movie.
How much time has passed
in
between
been
when Cedric died and now?
It's been summer vacation.
Okay.
It's been like 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that it is a combination of the like trauma from that and not having anybody there with him to like help him process everything.
Yeah. And also
then
nobody
like he said later in the movie, they don't understand. Like they're trying.
And nobody believing him that Voldemort is back.
Right.
And nobody taking it seriously.
In the book they explain and he eases off a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, in the movie he's just a very angry person.
Yes.
And I mean, I kind of get it. Like we were discussing earlier, I fucking feel it right now.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I think it's her attempt at making him a realistic character rather than a likable character.
True. My sister told me before I read this book, Julie said, get ready for emo Harry. Harry's super emo in the whole 5th book. And I didn't read him as emo in this book at all. Actually, I read him as mostly reasonable throughout this book, actually, with his emotions. I was like, yeah, that's how I would react to everything, except for everything with Cho, which I thought he was kind of just a stupid boy about, but they don't get into that in the movie, and at all, actually, which I actually am fine with because it was stupid annoying in the book. But in the movie, it seemed more intense in the movie, and I don't know if Julie was just mixing up the emo-ness in the movie from the book, but I was like, he was more. Yeah,
Maybe felt. She was just thinking of Spider-Man 3.
I feel like in the book, this is where he kind of started to get super sassy.
Yeah, I
like just stop taking everybody's shit. Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Like, ask a stupid question, you're gonna get a stupid answer, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was super, super pissy in this scene, but the twins helped.
Yeah.
I love them in this movie. This is where they finally start actually utilizing these guys.
I did like them in this movie. I don't really, like I said, I think I've mentioned this before. Previous movies, last movie I started to care about them a little bit, but I haven't really cared about the twins because they don't really do anything. But then in this movie, they actually do stuff, and I think it's pretty cool. So I like them more.
I liked them. I mean, I've liked them pretty much since, what did I say? Probably the second movie I said I really started to like them a lot. But this book, Ask Jessica, when I texted her, I was like, oh my God, they are my favorite characters in this entire series. I love them so much. And in this movie, they did a really great job with them, except for, I don't think that their exit we'll get there, but
Okay, we will
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
So one thing that is, or rather two things that are not included in this whole scene. I mean, let's get real. There's a lot that's not included in this whole, being at the Order headquarters. But regarding the Weasleys in particular, in the book, we are not introduced to Bill because we already know Bill by this point. You don't know Bill, Thomas.
Who's Bill?
But Bill is there. Bill is
brother.
one of the older Weasley brothers.
Yeah.
Dr. Bill Pullman, Harvey, PhD?
No, he's not in this.
No, he's not.
He's not British. He's not British enough.
But Bill is a part of the Order, and so he's here.
Is he the dragon one or the other one?
What's that?
Is he the dragon one or the other one?
No, he's not the dragon one.
Charlie is the dragon brother.
Okay.
Bill is the one that has the earring, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's got an earring or something, and his mom thinks it's ridiculous.
So, really the most important thing about Bill in this particular movie that you'll need to know for future reference is that he and Fleur, the girl from Goblet of Fire, the blonde, they're dating.
Okay.
Fleur,
because you're going to see her in future movies, and you would be like, why the fuck is she here?
You don't really get to talk about the elf guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Creature.
Yeah, we don't really bring him up, so
we see him a couple times.
What, the house elf at the Sirius's house?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you see him a few times, but he doesn't really. They don't really point him out at all.
He also doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because in the book he actually ends up. He's the one who reveals to Voldemort that Harry can see. Like, has this connection with him, and that Sirius would be good bait to use to get him to come to the place, the Ministry of Magic.
Okay. So
then we go to his trial at the Ministry.
I super duper 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 enjoy watching Mr. Weasley making his way through, like, the subway and stuff, and, like, not understanding how to get through the, whatever the turnstile.
The turnstile, yeah.
Oh my god, that was so funny. I just like,
Sorry, it's the tube.
The tube.
Yeah, not the subway.
I loved that. He called it an underground train. He was like, trains underground.
Yeah, they do call it the underground. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just really funny to watch him being.
Sorry, the underground, governor.
The underground. And I had to point out to Thomas that Lucius was talking to Fudge on the. I was like, "Oh, did you see that was Lucius? Did you see that?" But then nothing happens from that, and I was like, "Never mind." Later that happened. Never mind.
Doesn't matter.
I thought it was weird that Lucius is just out and about, even though Harry knows that he's like one of the head Death Eaters now, because Harry saw him in the last movie. I just thought it was weird that he can
get
just
away with it. He's got the Ministry. I guess
because Harry doesn't have the credibility, he thinks he can get away with it. I guess
he can get away with it. Yeah.
So I really enjoy at the hearing. I enjoyed Dumbledore coming in and just being like, "Oh yeah, you moved the hearing. I just happened to show up early anyway because I'm fucking Dumbledore."
So he busts in. Like essentially stating, like doing a roll call. He's like saying his name,
right?
And so he busts in and he gives off all like 600 of his names.
I like that one of his names is just Brian.
And I was just like, he's got a long name, motherfucker.
And in the book, it's not important at all, but I thought it was funny in the book. He when he gets in the room, he's like, "Oh, we could go get a chair for you." And Dumbledore's like, "No bother." And he takes his wand and he just creates a chair out of nothing and sits in it. And then at the end of the hearing, he like takes his wand and he takes the chair out of the room and leaves it. It was just really funny. But in the book, I didn't realize that Umbridge was in the hearing. Like, I guess I just missed it. That was who...
I mean, it probably wasn't even mentioned.
Yeah.
You don't know who she is at that point.
Right. And so when I was reading the book, I didn't know who Umbridge, what she was going to look like or anything like that when I was reading it. And in the book, they describe her to look like a toad. And when I watched the movie and they showed her that, you know, like they sent her on her in the hearing. And I even said out loud, "Oh, that bitch, that's fucking her right there. I didn't know she, and Thomas was like, what? I'm like, nothing. And I was like,
you're going to learn today,
I'm like,
Thomas.
you're going to know who she is in a couple minutes. And I was like, I didn't know she was at that fucking hearing, that bitch. So, yeah, that's all. I didn't recognize. And Harry says later, like, so she was at my hearing, and I couldn't recall if that was, like, a line in the book either. So I don't remember if that happened in the book or not. But I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, then we go to school, right? Right?
Well, I have a thing about what's happening in this hearing.
In the trial? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so first off, when Harry got the howler saying he was expelled from school, I was like, wait, what? There's no appeal process or anything? Which this is that. I want to know, they have truth serum in the wizard world. If they think Harry is lying so intently, why don't they just give him truth serum? And they'll know what's happening.
It takes a while for it to brew and stuff, right?
Yeah, like,
no.
Snape has a supply on hand. It's a
little more insidious than that. It's not so much that they think he's lying, it's that they don't want him to be telling the truth.
Yeah, I also don't understand why Fudge is being so stupid about it. Like,
why he's being Trump about it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want Voldemort to be back. He doesn't want to have to deal with it, essentially.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be responsible for whatever, bloodshed or war or whatever comes next. So he's burying his head in the sand and pretending it's not happening.
Yeah.
And if that means taking out Harry Potter, then that's what that means.
Which is very annoying. I didn't really like it.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible. Like I would consider him a bad guy in this movie for sure.
Yeah, he comes off as basically a bad guy. Well, he's not a good guy for.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah, that was my whole thing.
And then Mrs. Fig comes back for a hot second, and she's super cute, and I love her. Yeah. So then we go to the train station. So Sirius gives Harry the photograph of the original Order of the Phoenix. And we kind of get some introductions with Harry's parents and Neville's parents. But somebody that we don't get introduced to that we will meet later down the road, that you just don't know exists right now, is Dumbledore's brother.
Dumbledore!
Yeah.
So Dumbledore's brother Aberforth was also in the original Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
And they are not close. And that's all you need to know for now. But further down the road, you'll meet him.
All right.
And they'll pretend like they introduced you to him already. So yeah, so Sirius sends him off. We get off the train at Hogwarts. And we meet one of my favorite characters.
Luna Lovegood.
Luna Lovegood.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this person?
Yeah?
The blonde, wispy girl?
I know who she is. She's just I don't have nothing to say about her. She's just kind of there.
Really? Okay.
I liked her a lot better in the movie than I did in the book. When I read her character, when we were first introduced to her in the book, so I knew that there was a girl named Luna in the book because I knew that there was a character named Luna that was coming. Because you had mentioned a girl named Luna a couple of times to me, and I was like, we haven't met anybody named Luna yet. And so I was like, I know there's a girl named Luna coming. And I wasn't sure like what she was about or anything. And meeting her, I didn't really care for her in the book. She sounded really... I just didn't really care for her as I read her. And I don't know if I just didn't really like her.
She's like painfully awkward in the books.
Yeah.
Like in the books, she's so socially inept that it's almost like you feel it. You cringe.
Yeah, it's pain. And as an awkward person who often feels painfully awkward in social situations, who I identify with such things very much, I feel like maybe I just don't like reading characters like that often because I'm like, That's not funny because that feels really, really, really real to me. I liked her a lot more in the movie because I liked that they made her more wispy, ethereal, eclectic. I liked that. I liked the character choices that she made as the actress. Anyway, you didn't like her. You were saying you didn't like her, right?
I didn't care for her. No.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually she's one of my favorite characters, especially in the movies, but in the books too. And again, Nikki, I was with you. I didn't like her at 1st, but she
gets
grows
better
on you the more you get to know her.
I think I would rather get to know more about Cho than I would to know about Luna.
Well, no,
Personally,
you don't, because Cho's done now.
Oh, all right.
Cho just burned Harry, and Cho's done. Well, Cho burned Harry in the movie. She doesn't actually.
Well,
burn
maybe
him in
I'd
the
like
book.
to get to know more about Hermione then.
Well, Hermione's gone now too,
or even Ginny, but Ginny doesn't really become a part of the group until she's just now starting to kind of be a part of this group. I think what I like about Luna is that she's probably, especially for a kid their age, the most emotionally aware. Mm-hmm. And she just understands. She doesn't understand how to act around people, but she understands people.
Yeah.
Like what their motivations are and why they feel the way they feel and stuff like that. She doesn't know how to behave without being super awkward at all. And she's also the first Ravenclaw that we are going to get to know personally.
Yeah, Thomas, so she's from your house.
Well, first of all, I didn't even know that. And second of all, sure? I feel like
I assure you, she will grow on you.
I feel like in the movies, the houses don't matter.
The points are made up.
Yeah.
And the houses don't matter.
Well, the points were always made up, but the houses don't matter.
And the limit does not exist. You're right.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Nobody cares except for Slytherin is the bad house. And that's really it.
Right. So we're back at Hogwarts.
Yes. And Hagrid's not here.
It's the year of anarchy. Hagrid's not here. There is no Quidditch, and
there hasn't been Quidditch for like 3 movies, so whatever.
I was kind of bummed that the Quidditch thing was cut. Not because
of Ron.
Because of Ron. So Ron joins the Quidditch team in this movie or in this book, which isn't. I don't know if it's important for later because I don't know if he's in the team later.
Not super. It's just fun that Ron gets to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I got excited.
Follow Harry around.
I got excited for Ron in the books because Ron tells Harry, he's secretly doing stuff at night in the books. And I even said to Jessica, I'm like, what the fuck is Ron doing? And then I said to her, I said, oh, was Ron he's trying out for Quidditch. Good for Ron trying out for Quidditch. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, he makes the team. I was so excited for him. And then they cut all of that. He sucks, but I mean, it was still cute. And it actually made me cry in the book because everybody sings about him being great at the end because he eventually comes through for the team. And it was him being celebrated for once. And Ron deserves to be celebrated sometimes too. And
and Umbridge bans Harry from playing. Yeah. So Ron just gets to be on the team without Harry
helping him. He's not there.
Or
Yeah.
So it's Ron's thing this year.
And that's Ginny gets to play too, and Ginny's good.
Okay.
Ginny's very good.
Cool.
And Ron and Hermione are prefects, and they cut that from the movie. And
those are the guidance counselors, right?
The heads of the house.
Yeah, the heads of the house.
Like the TAs, the
the RAs.
RAs.
Yes,
yeah,
RAs.
They're RAs. Yeah.
Just like Nikki, who is an RA.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not important to have because they're not really.
It's just another one of those things that Ron and Hermione get to do without Harry.
Yeah.
And Harry's salty about it at first, and then he realizes that.
And when I read that in the book, I didn't understand why he was salty about it at first. I'm like, what the hell's his problem? Let them do something without you. So we go to Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
And we have our
Hogwarts, yeah.
and we meet Umbridge, right? We get to, she interrupts Dumbledore like a fucking...
Like a real asshole.
Do you know who I am? I'm Dumbledore.
So, do you know, are you familiar with the movie Steel Magnolias?
Yes.
Do you know when I describe for you Weeza, who Weeza is in the movie? The grouchy lady. That's who I was picturing Umbridge was in the book.
Oh, okay.
When I was reading it. Just like a proper bitch who was wearing her Sunday best, and she has her little hat on at church on Sunday, and just like bitchy and grouchy the whole time. So
did she... Well, she's not bitchy and grouchy, but she does have that
like
like good Christian mom look to her.
Yes. So, and I hated her. I didn't know I was going to hate her until the detention part happened in the book. And I texted you, I was like, oh my God. And you were like, surprise. But anyway.
The woman who plays Umbridge, her name is Imelda Staunton. And she was
the proper British name.
It is proper British, isn't it?
Say what you said again. Say what you said again, because I didn't hear it, because he said that.
She was the only casting choice for Umbridge.
Oh, really?
They did not audition anybody else.
No, well, they did a perfect job casting her.
She was amazing.
She was perfect for that part.
Really, though.
She did great.
So we get to our first Defense Against the Dark Arts class with Umbridge.
I really liked the book from the 1920s she puts on their desk.
Yeah. So we're teaching you to pass tests, not to actually learn something.
Right. Very old school.
We have
with outdated materials, and it's the American education.
We have a standardized testing political subplot to this movie.
Right.
It's the book as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question about Umbridge.
Okay.
So she works for the Ministry of Magic.
The Ministry of Magic. Yep.
Yes. She was sent to Hogwarts. I guess I don't know where her authority comes from.
So she works with Fudge, who is the Wizarding Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Magic.
Okay.
And, I like your magic fingers.
So he sends her there essentially to act as, his proxy, because he can't be there. So he's basically given her the authority to do whatever she needs to do in order to follow his agenda.
He basically wants Dumbledore out of Hogwarts because he doesn't like that Harry Potter is telling everybody that Voldemort is back.
I got that.
He wants control over the situation.
And
Harry and Dumbledore won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
so
I guess it wasn't clear to me. So the Ministry of Magic has authority over all magic use.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Hogwarts is under that.
Hogwarts is just a school that teaches the small witches and wizards how to use the magic.
So Fudge basically has authority to do whatever he wants with Hogwarts.
Yes.
And he
everything...
delegated his authority to Umbridge, so she can basically do whatever she wants with Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially he's the president, and Hogwarts falls under his jurisdiction because it's in his... And so he's essentially named her, the Secretary of Education or whatever.
Okay.
So she discusses the owls.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
yes.
Which are the wizarding SATs or whatever. We don't go too much into owls.
No.
But you basically just get that it's a standardized test that they're supposed to study for the whole year.
Yeah, it takes up their whole year.
Does this happen normally, or is it just her doing it?
No, everybody does it.
It's everybody.
The twins just passed theirs the year before also, which is something we don't say, which is why they keep appearing in this movie too. They just keep, what's it called? Transfiguring? No, not transfiguring. What's it called when they appear? Apparating and stuff like that. That was
another laugh when they apparated behind Molly earlier.
Yeah.
And scared the shit out of her. I love that moment.
You missed.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I know. They don't really. They're allowed to use, once they get their OWLs, they're allowed to use magic, right? Like, it's like they're...
Like outside of school,
Outside of school, they're allowed to use magic once they pass their OWLs.
Okay.
So...
and also, this is where you kind of start to decide what career path you're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And your tests will be according to that. And so it's not super important, but an interesting note is that Harry has a life plan and he wants to be an orar, like Mad Eye Moody. Mm-hmm. An oral juror.
An oral juror.
Yeah, so he wants
to be a wizarding detective.
Yes.
And hunt Death Eaters, question mark?
Yes.
Is that what Moody does?
Basically figures out, helps solve magical mysteries.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not entirely Death Eater centric, but I mean, now that Death Eaters are a thing, it does fall under that.
Okay.
But yeah, they essentially are detectives and solve wizarding mysteries and crimes.
Harry Potter.
Okay. Because Harry's super good at that.
Right? Well, what else is he gonna do? So Harry runs his mouth and he gets thrown into detention.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jessica and Nikki's side discussion about detention really quick?
Yes, please. So I texted Nikki before you guys started watching the movie, and I was like, when we get to the detention scene, can you like secretly film Thomas? Because I want to see his reaction. And Thomas did not react.
I'm all stealthily recording Thomas during the scene. I'm like, I'll see what he thinks of Umbridge's detention. Because when I read the book and I heard Umbridge's detention, I text Jessica, holy fucking shit. I cannot believe that this is what, oh my God, like this is allowed to happen. And Jess was like, oh, I know. And so, naturally you'd think Thomas would be like, what the what? Because, he can't handle the Dursleys. What would Thomas make of the children getting detention? But no, Thomas just watching.
That's exactly what I was like. He thinks the Dursleys are bad. Fucking, you're in Umbridge's house now, dude. So.
To be fair, their first detention, their first year, they got sent into the woods to die.
Fair.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
But yeah, Thomas's reaction. Thomas's reaction in the video is nothing. Nothing.
Well, it may not have had an awkward reaction to that. I did think it was kind of fucked up. But I did have a question as to what it meant. So I wrote this question down earlier, but this pen, like whatever you write, gets carved into your skin, basically. Mm-hmm. Is that it? Is it just the pain of that happening, or does it then compel you to do whatever is written on you?
No, it hurts. It's supposed to just teach you the lesson.
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to comment on, I really have enjoyed seeing all of the different Defense Against the Dark Arts offices up until now, and I have to say how much I love her fucking cats and
Catwall.
Oh my God. I mean, and in the book, I think the first time that they described her office, I just kind of missed it. And then the second time in the book, when they kind of described a little bit more of it, I was like, wait, what? Cats? And I was like, funny.
The cat decorations were off the chain.
Yeah.
So. Right.
Is this we get Fire Skype with Sirius now?
Fire Skype.
Is it? The next thing I have written down is the forest with Luna, where we hang out with the Thestrals. And I cried when she was talking to him. I don't know why. It's just something. I think it's just the fact that she's able to kind of keep him grounded during all this and explain, like, you're not going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you're being manipulated into feeling this way on purpose. And now that you know that, you can kind of take back control of it.
This made me like her a lot more. I was like, oh, yeah. I like her.
She's very sweet.
Yeah. I was disappointed that the whole thing doesn't happen with her dad writing the article about him in her dad's paper with Rita Skeeter and stuff like that. That kind of clears his name.
She mentions it, doesn't she? Does she mention that her dad runs the magazine, the Quibbler?
No, none of that gets mentioned in the movie. And so
she just says that me and my dad believe you.
Yeah, that was it.
So in the book, they do believe Harry, and her dad, he's like the editor for
the Quibbler,
essentially a wizarding tabloid magazine, and they end up running a story, like supporting Harry and kind of proving him right, and it helps get everybody back on Harry's side.
Yeah, and it goes around Hogwarts, and it's a whole thing where, like, Umbridge, like, all the professors and stuff read it, and, like, Umbridge writes people up for reading it around, like, it's banned from the school, and, like, the kids hide it in their textbooks, and, like, they have spells on it to turn it into something else if she thinks she comes across it and stuff, and it was really cool, and, like, the teachers support Harry and stuff like that, and it was cool in the book. That was something that wasn't in the movie that I kind of wished would have been included, because I liked all that.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, there was just some things that they
would have been really nice.
Would have been nice, and there were some things that they chose. Like did they start montage? Is this when they start to montage?
I like a lot of the montages. Yeah. I will say that. I think it was a very effective way of
because this
getting across the point.
Yes, because this was some of the thing that I didn't care about this book was that I felt like a lot of what was happening in this book. So she starts like going around and basically grading the teachers. And this is where we are in the movie, right? Like this is the montage.
Yep.
So, like, in the book, we start, like, grading the teachers. She goes to Trelawney's class, and she goes to Snape's classes, and she goes to everybody's classes, and she's asking them all these questions. And literally, the book is that for quite a few chapters. It's just her going to the classes, and then interlaced with that, we have, like, Harry and Cho with this stupid romance, and interlaced with that, we have the DA thing kind of happening. And that's literally what this book is that for quite a few chapters. So it was boring in the book for sure, this whole entire part. And I appreciated that they turned the grading of the teachers and stuff into a montage and like kind of seeing it as a montage. But I think what would have made it a little bit more effective would have been if they had the Quibbler thing happening and we could see Harry's side and people getting on Harry's side about things too, because we could have been seeing the headlines of
that didn't happen until a little bit later though, didn't it?
Maybe a little bit later, but I felt like that the like Trelawney and stuff like getting kicked out of school, that happened like way at the end of the book. Like that was happening towards the end, and it happened really early in the movie, and I was like, this is already happening. So there were some things that they sped up really quickly. And so I felt like they sped some things up in the timeline. And I was like, well, if they're going to, I feel like they could have done some other things to kind of side by side it to make it a little bit more, like there were just some things that they cut.
Right.
That could have, I don't know. They could have added.
This is one of the few things that they actually let McGonagall do.
Right.
Was come to Trelawney's defense.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff happens with the adults in this movie that you don't really get to go with them.
Because this movie's about the kids, not the adults.
I like hearing about characters, and so I think that I liked this book a lot because there was a lot of just hanging out with characters.
Yeah,
and a lot of dialogue, a lot of just getting to know them. That
was something I did like about this book. I felt like we got to hear a lot of information, but I felt like a lot of stuff didn't happen. I felt like nothing happened in this book.
Correct, and it would make for a boring movie. So yes. I'm glad to some extent that they cut the things that they did. So so Trelawney is about to get the boot, and she's rescued by Dumbledore and McGonagall. And it's like the second time that Dumbledore ghosts Harry.
Yeah.
Very noticeably.
Yeah.
Like,
which he definitely gives a bullshit excuse for at the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I thought if I was a dick to you, you'd be safer.
Yeah, it almost just kind of seems like maybe you didn't want it hang out with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But whatever.
Do we start the defense now? Do we start?
Yeah, I've written down common room / forming the DA.
Yeah.
The common room was probably the Fire Skype.
Was that Fire Skype?
I know.
Okay.
I feel like we have Fire Skype
So let's
in here
talk
somewhere.
about. Thomas really wants to talk about
we have
Fire Skype.
Fire Skype is before we form the team because I also have a note about them forming the team.
All right,
So,
Thomas, talk about Fire Skype.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are. We're Fire
Boo,
Skyping.
boo,
I just
boo,
want-
boo, boo. That's Fire Skype sound with the fire flames. That was the flames.
Wow, good job.
Do you want more flames?
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
It's like I'm in the flames right now.
Like Skype. Damn it. Like
serious?
like serious.
What you
Yeah.
wrote? Just like Skype.
Yeah.
Just like Skype.
First off, I wanted to say that I much prefer this Fire Skype effect to the last movie's Fire Skype effect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. Thomas said,
Not all of the CGI in this movie was bad or took a step back, like we were saying. Some of it was massively improved, and
It's not like it. It's not that it was a bad or good CGI. It was just a better design of the effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also wanted to say that Sirius basically just called to tell Harry that he didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty much how the Fire Skype conversation went in the last movie, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
It's just kind of like, hey, I'm about to die, and I gotta remind you that I'm here, and that I'm a character, and that you should care
This
about me.
entire book
Okay,
was
bye.
like every single time Harry and Sirius spoke in the book, it was like this too. I swear to God, every time it was like, "Hey Harry, I love you, James. I mean Harry. We'll talk later. You're my favorite godson. See you later, James. I mean Harry. Bye." The whole
Did he
book.
call him James in the scene too?
In the book, he calls him James a couple of times,
Okay.
and he like.
No, in the movie, the only time he calls him James
Is at the
is
end.
at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
but-
super weird.
But
Yeah,
in the
that's
book, they point out that like, oh, I think that he keeps mixing up that you're Harry versus he thinks you're James, and like I think Lupin maybe is the one that talks to him about
I'm
it
sorry.
in the book.
You mean Wolfie McWolfface?
Sorry, Wolfie McWolfface might be the one that talks to him about it in the book.
Yeah, use the proper.
Sorry, guys. But yeah, every time they talk, it seems like it's when this may be the last time we ever speak, godson. Love you. Every time they talk, I'm like, so you're gonna die.
I didn't get that yet at this point in the movie.
No, Thomas
but
calls that he dies,
yeah.
though.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
So then we get to building the team.
Yes.
And then I want to know, why are we making a list that says Dumbledore's army just so that Umbridge can find it?
I have a fact for you.
Why?
So this list, they don't address it in the movie, but this list is actually a contract, essentially. So everybody who signs the list is under a hex effect that Hermione has put on this paper.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of them betrays the confidence of the group, they will get hexed with, like, they get the word sneak, like, written across their face in, like, boils and, like,
Oh, okay.
pimples and stuff.
I feel like it would have been worth spending a couple of lines in this movie explaining that. It would have been worth saying that rather than just having a super convenient list just sitting out that Umbridge can find so that, oh, I guess I know who all the people are that I need to punish.
Yeah. I think it's because they changed the way that the DA got revealed.
Yeah.
In the book, it's relevant because somebody does betray them, and so the effects are therefore seen.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody realizes that, oh, if I had done that, that would be me. In this book, they kind of take back what, like, they're like, oh, Cho betrayed him, and then they're like, oh, but she did it because she was under truth serum, so it's not really her fault.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in the book, and it makes them look like the assholes rather than Cho look like the asshole. Cho's an asshole.
Well, it would be it made Umbridge. It just made Umbridge seem like more of an asshole,
right?
Because she used the truth serum on Cho to figure out where the thing was.
Interrogated a kid with truth serum,
And also saying that she had used up Snape's entire store of truth serum interrogating students.
Yeah.
So
we form the DA.
Yeah.
And we start our DA meeting montage.
Wait. This is so when they were trying to figure out where to meet, and Neville comes across the room of requirement is when I realized that Dobby wasn't in the movie, and I was like, and again, we don't have the stupid elves in the movie. Awesome again. And that means there's no spew. And then I was like really excited to know that, Dobby wouldn't be in the movie. And then I realized that Neville keeps having to replace Dobby because he did the gillyweed, and that was Dobby in the other movie too. But then I realized that meant, because so in the book, not important, but kind of funny, Hermione, remember how in the second movie, when Dobby's given a sock, that means he was freed from being a house elf?
Yeah.
So Hermione in this book is sewing a bunch of little hats and leaving them all around Hogwarts in hopes that the elves will find them and put them on and then be free from working at Hogwarts. And it's like this whole stupid thing that she's doing. And so what happens in the books is that Dobby keeps finding all the hats, and at one point Dobby, they come in and Dobby's wearing all the hats piled up on his head. And it made me laugh really out loud in the book, and so I was like, "Oh,
this is the book where Dobby actually starts becoming useful and not an annoying piece of shit."
Yeah, so I was happy to know that elves wouldn't be in the book, or in the movie, but I was bummed to know that we wouldn't see Dobby with all the hats on his head. I was like, "Oh, we won't get to see the hats on his head, though." Bummer.
Yes, we're correct.
Anyway, so DA...
We deleted Dobby.
Right. DA montage.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Hey, Nikki, did you see who has the same...
I saw that my Patronus was there. Me and my friend Hermione both have a cute little otter.
How cute was your Patronus?
It's really cute, but it led me to think about the fact that I don't understand how a teeny tiny little Patronus, like an otter or a bunny, can thwart off a Dementor. I don't understand how a teeny tiny little cutesy thing can do anything versus a big stag, I don't get it.
Judge me by my size, do you?
Oh my god.
It's magic.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how big it is. You can lift that X-Wing with your mind.
Okay, Jessica, and you were going to say?
Thomas, it doesn't matter how big it is, huh?
Yeah.
The size doesn't matter, Nikki.
Yeah.
It's all about how you use it.
Exactly. Well, I think that it's not so much that the animal itself is scaring off the Dementor. I think it's the power of the emotion, the happy emotion behind it.
Okay.
And so no matter what size the animal is, the emotion is going to be
okay.
the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was all.
Yeah. Plus, a little wispy wisp will technically,
right,
do shit against the Dementors, or why not?
True.
Oh, and we see Ginny fucking wreck some shit.
Yes. She stupefies.
Yeah. She casts a breaking spell.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. That was
completely obliterates the fucking test dummy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I did enjoy watching, what's the name of the guy with the cat? Oh my gosh.
Filch.
Filch.
I was going to call him Finch, but I knew that wasn't right. Okay, Filch. I did enjoy all of all the Filch stuff happening.
Creeping around.
Right. I enjoyed until the chocolates, and then when he was eating it and then he had the boils and then the one burst on the camera. I'm like, yeah, that was disgusting and super unnecessary.
Yeah, that was over the top.
That went too far.
I think I might have been looking away at that point, and I'm glad I was. So,
it was funny when he showed up, and it was there was stuff on his face. I was like, and then it one popped, and I was like, oh, because I don't do Dr. Pimple Popper.
No,
thank you.
So the DA is dismissed for Christmas break, and Harry and Cho get their Mac on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so then like that night in the common or their dorms, Harry has a vision about Arthur Weasley getting attacked by Nagini, the snake.
Yeah, the snake that I forgot to ask about last movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was the last movie. The snake at the beginning of the movie shows up, and I was like, what the fuck is this snake? And then I forgot to ask about it during the episode, and then I texted you later on. I was like, hey, what the fuck was this snake? And then you were like,
that's right.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
What's going on?
And that was something else that they cut from the book, or from the movie that's in the book that I was really bummed about. Was
the hospital
when
visit?
they go to the hospital. Not because of like the Neville stuff, because like you see Neville visiting his grandma in the hospital.
He and his grandma are there visiting his parents.
His parents in the hospital.
Who are essentially in like the psych ward.
Yeah.
Of the hospital because they're mentally damaged from the
Bellatrix
torture from Bellatrix, yeah.
But
and then the other person who's in the psych ward.
Yes. So I was so bummed, and I was so excited in the book because Gilderoy Lockhart shows up in the book in this part, because when Hermione in the hospital with him, and Ron and Harry go to visit Arthur in the hospital, they come across Gilderoy Lockhart, and Gilderoy's like, oh, hello, are you fans? Would you like my autograph? And he's like super oblivious. Has no idea, and just still thinks he's this big...
the spell that backfired on him in the second movie has done completely irreversible damage, so he will never be the same.
Yeah. So
way to go, Ron.
Yeah. So I was really bummed that they cut the hospital scene, because I was like, oh, I was hoping we'd get to see him again, because I loved him. So, yeah, I was bummed out. And I still, even when I was reading it this time, I still picture Tim Curry. And I think that was a poor casting choice that they didn't call Tim Curry.
Yeah, so we go back to Hogwarts, and Hagrid is there.
Mm-hmm.
We finally get to see him. We're like 80% of the way through the movie.
Right. Hagrid just tells them where he went. He tells them about the giants.
Yeah. They talk about like trying to get the giants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was with What's-Her-Face for this story, but he doesn't say any of that in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall lady.
The lady from the last
Beauxbaton
movie.
lady.
He takes Hermione and them out to go...
to meet Goppy.
Goppy, and he says, I'm going to get sacked in the next couple of days, so can you guys take care of Goppy? And so I'm guessing you said, fuck you, Umbridge. Oh, wait, no, because, no. Umbridge comes
she, actually comes for him.
Yeah, she comes into to the cabin, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She comes in and she questions
says something
him.
really nasty to him. And
basically says that she's going to fire him.
No, she says, oh, I see that you're back. I wouldn't bother unpacking, is basically what she says to him.
Yeah, I think I was like, wow, to that one.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? So, that's where we meet Grop then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And in the book, he's very, he's not like the big friendly giant. He's very much, doesn't give a fuck about...
He's like an aggressive giant. Yeah.
Huh?
He's like an aggressive giant, right?
Yeah, he's aggressive. At best, he just doesn't give a shit about what's going on, and at worst, he's borderline aggressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't talk to or acknowledge the kids at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when he comes and saves their asses at the end of the book, that it's super surprising that he cares and knows their names and stuff like that.
Probably better CG in the book, too.
Huh?
Probably better CG in the book, too.
Probably.
It's real bad.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
No, supposedly his CGI was considered groundbreaking CGI.
Wow.
Yeah.
For 2007, I feel like we could do better in 2007.
I know. there was better CGI in this same movie.
Yeah.
Can you
2007 was after Iron Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I was going to say
Iron Man had better CGI.
I was just going to say,
movie.
can somebody give me a movie that came out before this that has better CG just so I can just place myself in time, but that gave me enough information already.
Yeah.
Is this where we start lessons with Snape?
That's what I have written down. When does Dumbledore
That's my next
get
thing.
the-
I don't remember how he gets to Snape's office to get his mind workouts.
Snape I think that Dumbledore calls Snape in and is like, he needs, work on this, and Snape just fucking drags him off.
Yeah.
I didn't understand this in the book, and I didn't understand it in the movie, but I don't understand, what the point of the lessons, what the outcome was supposed to be.
It's funny because I also struggled with this when I was reading it, but I mean, ultimately, there's this connection between Harry and Voldemort's minds,
Right.
and Voldemort can kind of connect with other people in that way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the legitimacy, I don't know how they pronounce it, but yeah. So it's supposed to allow Harry to cut that connection so that Voldemort can't see visions from Harry's perspective. Harry is seeing them from Voldemort's perspective.
What I got from the explanation was that there was a danger that Voldemort could take over Harry's mind or drive him insane using this method. And Snape was building up his mental defenses to prevent Voldemort from doing that.
Yeah, it's partly that, and it's also partly that Harry is so involved in what the Order is going to be doing, and they don't want Voldemort getting information about the Order's plans by seeing what Harry's seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, it's a little bit of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got that Snape was just building up his mental defenses to keep Voldemort from using him against the Order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ultimately, if he could accomplish it, he would be able to cut his mind off from Voldemort entirely. I don't think he ever, if I remember correctly, I don't think he ever fucking grasps
because Harry's not a very good
Harry
wizard.
Potter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's actually very bad at magic, so there's that.
I do like that we got to see more of Snape, because I don't feel like Snape got to do anything in the last movie.
Yeah, we do get to see a little bit more of Snape, which is nice. And he's nicer in the movies than he is in the books, which is nice. During one of these lessons, Harry and Snape snap at each other, and
Harry reads Snape's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Snape doesn't like that.
And sees the memory of
Snape getting bullied.
Sirius and James bullying him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't feel too bad for him, because right after that, Snape calls Harry's mom a fucking mudblood, so he's not that nice.
So I didn't catch that was Sirius and James bullying Snape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he doesn't look like Harry, does he?
No.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Dominic Noble brought up, which was that they keep saying that Harry looks just like James. He's like, why didn't they just fucking have Daniel Radcliffe play James Potter in this memory? Although I guess that would have also been confusing, because you'd be like, why is Harry Potter?
It looks just like Harry Potter, but there's no scar.
He could have changed his hair or something, put different glasses on.
Dumbledore losing his job in the book. I had to re-listen to this part in the book a couple of times because I had a hard time following the scene and what was happening. I didn't understand who got in trouble, who turned in the DA and all the stuff, but I thought it was really cool that Dumbledore was like, no, bitches, like, I told them to form this army, and, like, it was all me, like, it's this is mine. Yeah, and I just thought it was cool, like, how clever Dumbledore was, and then Dumbledore's escape was just really clever and everything, and, like, in the book, he basically puts everybody to sleep in the room, and keeps everybody who's on his side awake, and he's like, don't worry, y'all, I'll be back. You know, I'm just gonna escape, and he tells, like, McGonagall and everybody, like, I'll be back, and don't worry about me, but I'm gonna take off, but I am not going to Azkaban. Fuck that noise. And then he gets out of there, and then everybody wakes up, like, confused, like, what happened here? And in it was just a very quick scene. It was over very quick, and I was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
It was kind of disappointing, because it was cool in the book.
I liked the scene. I liked what happened up until the actual escape, because I was like, oh, Dumbledore's like actually being a bro and like helping out all the kids and like taking the fall, and then he's like, and then you're like, you're gonna go to Azkaban, and he's like, no, I'm not.
Right.
Which is a very good moment. When he's like, you seem to be under the impression that I'm going to go quietly.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh wait, Dumbledore's a super powerful wizard.
Right.
I don't think they can I don't think that he
just fucked up.
I'm pretty sure that you can't take Dumbledore somewhere that he doesn't want to go.
Right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I also liked that kind of a moment where we get to see Dumbledore again, like just being his sassy.
I like when we get to see like how powerful Dumbledore is, and I like when we get to see how much of a bro he can be.
Yeah.
Like bro in a good way, not bro in a bad way.
Right. Yeah. You know, when he's not either ghosting Harry or just straight up yelling at him for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
That stuff. Yes, I also enjoyed that. So now it's owls.
Oh,
Dumbledore's gone. The twins have said, fuck that shit.
I liked it.
See, I liked it too, and I will say I don't remember how it happens in the book.
In the book,
I know that they don't interrupt the test because they don't want to fuck with the other kids testing.
Yeah.
I know that much, and I know that they leave with a bang, and but not having a reference of how it would compare to the book in my mind, I also really like it, and I'm glad that you liked it too, Thomas.
Yeah, it was. I liked how it was a big middle finger to Umbridge. Like,
it's very satisfying. Yes.
Very satisfying, and I thought the actual firework effects were really cool.
Yes, yeah, I liked the fireworks effects, and I liked all of the notices falling and shattering as well.
I liked that scene also. Yeah. It was very good visuals. Yes. I enjoyed it.
Nikki, are you looking up how...
I'm looking up how they did, like, what led up to them deciding to do it.
I think it was essentially her getting named headmistress.
She gets named headmistress, I know that. And then, hold on.
While she's doing that, I want to talk about Bellatrix real quick.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure we passed it. But it's what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. When I saw her, my first reaction was like, "Wait, this isn't a Tim Burton movie,
isn't it?" No, okay, so here's the rule with Helena Bonham Carter. She is allowed to be in other movies, but if there is a Tim Burton movie, she is required to be in it. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Except for Batman movies. She does a good job, though.
She does a good job, yes.
So basically, in the book, things are happening where, like, it's after, like, OWLs has happened, and that's already said and done. And Harry's had the vision about Sirius and is like already freaking out about Sirius and like what to do about Sirius. And there's like this whole thing with how the only way that he can communicate with Sirius is through only Umbridge's fireplace in her office and only Umbridge's office. And that's the only fireplace.
Yeah, because she put a spell on all the other fireplaces so people couldn't use flue powder or something like that.
And so like Fred and George have figured out like to use their fireworks to make a distraction so that Harry can break into her office and go to her fireplace and all this stuff. So basically they've turned like something into a swamp to create a big distraction one night so that Harry could get into her office and communicate with the house that Sirius is in, the Order house. And basically within all of that, Harry gets caught and the twins get caught, and like the twins are about to get into like a whole bunch of trouble, and the twins are just kind of like, you know what? Fuck this noise. I'm not interested in getting in trouble. I'm not interested in getting in trouble from you, bitch. And like they're in the middle of like the Great Hall, and they like summon their brooms to come to them, and they're like, and I'm also really beyond being part of any sort of educational anything. And they're both just like, yeah, I think we don't really have anything to do with education anymore. And they
much like Dumbledore, you can't make them go somewhere they don't want to
right.
go.
And then they announce, like, just so everybody here knows, we've just bought a place for our Weasleys.
Their joke shop.
And they're like, and there's a discount for all Hogwarts students for anybody who buys anything to get this old hag out of Hogwarts. Bye! And like they get up on their broom and they just fucking peace out and they leave Hogwarts. And I was just like driving in my car. I was like, oh yeah! When I heard that part, I was just like, that's right! I was just like super into it. And then basically after that in the book, like it's everybody at Hogwarts is just doing everything to wreak havoc on this bitch. And like they're doing all of the tricks in the world to, like, they're letting off all the fireworks and stuff like that. So like the fireworks and stuff is happening, and it's just,
it would be cool to see everybody letting her have it. That would be very satisfying. But
so
I also liked, I mean, they had to make it clear and concise and quick, I guess. So this also worked.
So I didn't not like it. It's just their exit in the book just felt super just like victorious and awesome to me. And it wasn't what I this felt disruptive to the OWLs, which are important, and I guess I don't know.
Right.
But anyway.
So
it wasn't bad. I didn't not like it. It just felt I liked it more in the book.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Fine.
Yeah. It's fine, you guys.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's fine, guys.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Let's move
on. So while they are watching the twins exit, Harry gets his vision. And yeah, this is where he takes off to go to her office, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To use her fireplace.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed, but one of the cats in the paintings dips.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see
I
that.
did notice her. I noticed one of them leave, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that's like the alarm cat. He's going to tell Umbridge that.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's how he gets caught there. And then, yeah, this is the interrogation, right?
Right, yeah.
Where he fucking threatens to use the Crucio curse on him.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is this the part where we called in Snape for more truth potion, and then he says that she used it all?
Yes.
And then Harry tells him that Padfoot has, or the Voldemort has Padfoot, and then Snape is like, "Oh, okay," and then but like doesn't tell Umbridge. Like that's like the one like, yeah, the professors also don't like Umbridge and want her to get out. So I appreciated that. But also, I don't think that Snape actually did anything.
Yeah. So, what is really happening here? So in the book, Snape says, I've already used all of the truth serum on Harry, because she'd been putting the truth serum in Harry's tea, like during detention or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And Harry wasn't drinking it. Like, he didn't trust her enough to drink anything that she'd given him. But that's why the truth serum ran out.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
that's
not
also when we
used
figured
on
out
Cho.
that she used it on Cho, and that's why she told them about the room.
Yeah.
But also, nothing really comes of that either. I mean, apparently,
Right.
apparently Cho's gone now. So.
Yeah, it kind of makes Harry look like an asshole because you find out that, oh, it's not Cho's fault, but then he still ghosts her anyway.
Yeah.
Like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Right.
In the book, it's Cho's best friend told on them, and so then he and Cho have a blowout because she defends her friend, and then she also like roasts Hermione for putting a hex on the contract. Like, she trashes Hermione to him, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this. We're done. But also, they had been, like, super not compatible up until that point, too. So, that's why Cho doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And then in this scene, so Snape comes in and says that, and Harry does say he, like, uses the whole Padfoot thing. And in the movie, I'm like, why would you assume that Snape knows what the fuck you're talking about? Like, he doesn't. But in the book, it's revealed that Snape is in the Order. Like, he's there at the headquarters with them.
Yeah. Well, I assume that he was in the Order because he was training Harry how to stop Voldemort mind stuff.
And so in the book later, we find out that the reason that the Order comes to save the kids is because Snape did tell them, and he was like, you know, she took them out to the forest. They never came back. I don't know where the fuck they went, but, you know, he said something about the Ministry, so you guys look there and I'll check the forest. So he did sort of care about the kids. And then it's also revealed in the scene that Umbridge is the one who sent the Dementors after Harry during the summer.
Is it? Oh, I guess
Not
I missed
in the movie.
that. Oh, okay.
Not in the movie.
Because they never really explain the Dementors in the movie, I feel like.
They don't. Fudge had essentially told her that they were to silence Harry Potter. And so she was like, well, the Ministry controls the Dementors and what they do, so I'm going to order them to go hunt down this kid, and either they're going to kill him or they're going to get him thrown in jail for using magic, and either way, he's silenced. Boom.
Okay.
So then she threatens him with the Crucio curse, and Hermione saves the day with quick thinking there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And tells her that
Dumbledore's secret weapon is in the woods.
Weapon is in the forest.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that bothered me about the forest scene is that the centaurs were not
horses,
like, intelligent.
Yeah. I thought that was weird also. Like, they were just animals.
Yeah, and she was like insulting them, and clearly they understood, but they weren't like reacting at all, other than
they couldn't hire anybody to voice them. They just took a bunch of recordings of horses instead, and they were just like, let's just make horse sounds because they're horses.
Because didn't we met a centaur in the first movie? Didn't he talk?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So the centaurs attack, and Grop comes to help, and then she gets hauled off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they kill her? I feel like in the movie it seemed like they were gonna go kill her.
It did. It did seem very much like either they're gonna go kill her or they're gonna
other things.
Yeah, exactly.
That was horses having sex on a bed, if you didn't get that.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
The voice acting is really...
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I am an actress.
Yeah.
She comes back at the end of the book, like she's just banged up at the end of the book from everything. So I think that she's banged up. And she's like, I'm all better now.
And I know at the end of the movie they do one of those like cuts to like the paper headline. And one of the headlines is that she's been rescued, but also she's been fired. So
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, she's alive.
I missed that.
Yeah. Just worse for wear.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, then we can go to the ministry.
Yep.
Right?
And then the part I was CG dreading of them flying on invisible jets like Wonder Woman. They were like, I told Thomas, I was like, oh, I was really worried about this part. And then I was like, oh, I guess they just let us see them flying on the things. But
I guess technically the movie is from Harry's point of view. So I guess from Harry's point of view, you can see them.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess that kind of makes sense. And also I didn't really care. So.
And then we see the worst storage facility in the world.
Right? What? Why?
Yep.
So we have, it's just a bunch of prophecies? Is that what these balls are?
Yeah.
It's all prophecies. And they're all apparently stored.
And like memories, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're all apparently stored loosely. These glass balls are stored loosely on these apparently very fragile, very high, very close together shelves.
Listen, they got a deal from IKEA. Okay. It's the Flurmersherman shelves. And the IKEA shelves are very complicated to say. They're Swedish, okay?
Yeah.
They are.
The Flurmersherman shelves, they're all missing one specific bolt. So it was very easy for them to just go down.
I did like all the stuff with Lucius up until this point, though.
Yes.
I liked his villainous acting.
I couldn't understand anything that was being said by him in this scene.
That's why we had subtitles.
This was the subtitle part that Thomas was even like, I'm really glad we have.
So elegantly, though, Nikki.
Thomas even said that it was hard to understand him in this scene.
He's also very whispery in this scene.
He was very whispery and extra British, and yes.
But I liked it.
I've got a couple things for this scene.
Okay.
Thought-wise, I thought that this whole scene of like Lucius approaching them and kind of trying to negotiate with them, and then you see the Dementors slowly closing in, and then the chase. I thought that whole scene was...
Dementors? I thought those were just other Death Eaters.
Did I say Dementors? I meant Death Eaters.
Oh, okay.
I thought that this whole scene was much better done than the way they did the maze scene.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, I thought the tension was a lot higher.
Yeah.
Visually, it was a lot better. I thought, more magical looking, more, and Lucius is just fun. He's just such a dirty skank. I love him.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's a bitch. So, book fact.
Book fact.
Book fact. The prophecy isn't just revealed as soon as Harry touches it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just say out loud what the prophecy is with Lucius standing right behind him. And then you're like, well, why do you need the fucking prophecy? You just heard what it said.
In the book, isn't it like the prophecy gets smashed and the prophecy is instead Trelawney says it because Trelawney is the person who...
Yeah, they never hear it, but Trelawney was the one who gave the prophecy, so she just fucking tells him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they wouldn't do in the first place.
Right.
Also, for me, what I'm confused about both in the movie and the book is that they say the only person who can, like, find or like, take the prophecy is the person that it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they need Harry to find it.
Yeah.
But it's also about Voldemort, so why doesn't he just fucking take it?
I don't really understand why he needs it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense what it's needed for. Because it gets broken.
It's like no new information.
Didn't it just say that one can't survive while the other lives? And Voldemort's gonna kill Harry anyway.
Exactly. And if Harry doesn't kill Voldemort, Voldemort is going to kill Harry. So we kind of already knew that was going to happen. Yeah. it does come into play down the road, but it feels very redundant right now. And then movie fact, this scene, the Department of Mysteries scene, was the first entirely CGI set in the whole series.
Oh, yeah?
Not the only one in the whole series, but the first one in the whole series.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I didn't know it was I didn't realize it was all CGI, but now that you say it, I can see that.
Yeah, I could see how it would be, but it was convincing.
Yeah, it was convincing.
It was really well
cool.
done.
Yeah. Maybe this is where all the CGI budget went to.
Right.
Right. And if that's the case, I'm not mad about it, because this was a really, really awesome scene.
Yeah.
All the balls like falling and breaking was very good.
Yeah.
They probably did this with CGI because they were like, when they read this in the book, and they were like, oh man, I don't want to have to get a whole bunch of glass balls and break all of them.
That's exactly what it was. They
Yeah.
were like, that's going to be like 5,000 glass balls, and that's a lot of cleanup, dude.
A lot of cleanup, and how many takes are we going to have to do before we get that to look exactly right?
You're like, at this point, it's just cheaper if we create a room on the computer.
Right.
Exactly. So they get hunted down by the Death Eaters.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually captured.
Right.
Is this when the Death Eaters turn into weird smoke monsters?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently the Death Eaters can just travel by smoke. They can just do whatever the fuck they want.
I just thought it was weird that all of a sudden everybody can just be a smoke monster whenever they want.
Well, it's also really weird that the good guys can be big old light ghosts.
Just white smoke monsters.
Big ol' what? What'd you say?
Light. The good guys, when the order comes, they're just like big balls of light, and they can just fly around.
It just seemed like a really weird thing for a wizard fight. Mm-hmm. I think I know what they were going for.
Yeah.
But I think it would make... first of all, I don't know if that's how it is in the books, and if it is, then fine.
No.
But I was thinking more of like flinging fireballs from your wand kind of a thing when I think wizard fight.
Right.
I thought it's funny that you say that because as you guys, of the three of us, I am the least nerdy when it comes to knowing magic stuff. So I don't know what the norm is. As somebody who doesn't see magical stuff very often, I thought that it looked really freaking cool. And I was like, this is a really cool way to do like a magic fight. And I was like, it looks really cool.
It does look very cool.
It looked really neat. But I also was kind of like, was this what magic stuff normally looks like? This is cool with the smoke and like the... And I was like, this is an awfully convenient way to appear and stuff. And I'm like, this seems awfully easy and stuff. And I'm like, why don't they all do it like that? And
yeah, that's why it doesn't seem very realistic. Like, why are some of them just standing there and tossing spells back and forth?
Right.
If you can just become a smoke monster and not take any damage.
And so this is when I finished watching the movie, this is why I texted you and I was like, what the fuck happened at the end of this book? Because I don't remember any of that. I had a really hard time with this whole end of the movie because it all started to get really confusing about here-ish for me. Because I remember like one of the Death Eaters turning into a baby at one point, and then like the kids didn't want to hurt the one that turned into a baby because they're like, well, I don't want to hurt it. It's a baby now. And
yeah, that's the one. Like visually, it looks really cool, but you don't really get to see wizards being wizards and like casting spells.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I think. That was my thing with it. It was like basically the established rule for magic in this universe is that magic comes out of your wand. Mm-hmm. And none of them are really doing that. And also nobody's saying any... You
are not magic. Like, you physically, your body is not magic.
Nobody's saying any words.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too.
No one's saying any, like, magic and incantations to make the magic happen. And all of a sudden, people are just turning into smoke monsters instead of just, like, shooting spells out of their wands.
Yeah, that was another thing I was also wondering about, too, is, like, after a certain point in this magical world, do you get so good at magic that you don't have to say the spell, and you can just point your wand with the intention of what the spell is, and your wand knows it because your body has the intention, and you don't need to say the incantation anymore? Or do you always need to say the incantation? Because, yeah, they weren't saying the incantations anymore. And that was confusing for me, too. I was like, well, maybe because these wizards have been doing it for so long, they don't say their incantations anymore. And their bodies and their wands have been together for so long that they don't need to. And that's how it works? Or is just they didn't want to use words because it was a duel and, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know what the typical rules are.
I don't know if there's ever been like a concrete answer given to that. I would say it's not beyond the realm of possibility, considering that she has magic casters who are able to cast without wands.
Mm-hmm.
Like just by saying the word. I would think that the opposite could also potentially be true.
Okay.
Using exclusively a wand and no words.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah. I think this is when I was texting you in the book, when I was reading this part in the book as well. I was like, oh no, I'm so glad that there are exactly the same amount of Death Eaters as there are the amount of children that happen to be with Harry Potter right now. How convenient is that? I was like, gee, I hope the whole entire order doesn't just show up all, oh no, here's the entire order. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I hope Dumbledore doesn't, oh no, here's Dumbledore all of a sudden. Just like during this whole part of the book, I was like calling it as it was happening. And
also, I thought Sirius's death was kind of anticlimactic.
It's also anticlimactic in the book. I had to rewind the book and listen to it 3 times because I wasn't sure that he died.
Had actually died. Yeah.
I was like, what? And I think I texted you and I was like, did Sirius just die? Or I think I was saying something to you and you were like, did you get past this part yet?
And also, what was the archway thing?
Yeah, they don't really explain that in the book either. Don't worry.
So,
and also, is that why Sirius died? Because he got pushed into it? Or I don't really understand why he died.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, he died because Bellatrix cast the killing curse on him.
Okay.
So, he was dead as soon as her spell landed on him.
Okay.
That is essentially the... I don't know if you've ever heard the term beyond the veil or something like that, but it's essentially that's the connection between the world of the dead and the world of the living. So I think the idea is that when somebody's killed, their spirit would travel to that spot. And since he was killed right there, he just went like that.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Swan dived backwards into it or whatever, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, so that's the... I think that archway is also similar to the Thestrals. I think only Luna and Harry could see it was there when the kids were in that room. Yeah, so the Death Eaters and the Order... Yeah, the Death Eaters and the Order continue fighting, but we don't see it because Harry takes off to hunt down Bellatrix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's mad.
He mad.
Yeah.
He mad for sure.
Yeah, you killed my goddaddy.
Exactly. That's my goddaddy.
That's my goddaddy.
That's my wife.
So I think in the book, this scene is very different in the book for sure. But I think what happens in the book is that, first of all, Dumbledore is already here in the fight. He's been fighting the Death Eaters.
Yeah.
With the Order.
Okay.
Harry actually does cast the torture curse on Bellatrix, but nothing happens because he's too good at heart. He doesn't have the intent behind it to actually inflict pain. And so when Dumbledore shows up, he's not trying to convince Harry to do it because Harry's already done it. he doesn't try to fucking Palpatine him to the dark side.
Do it.
When Voldemort shows up, he just straight up casts the killing curse at Harry. But Dumbledore blocks it somehow. I can't remember. I know at some point Fawkes like takes a killing curse and dies and is reborn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't remember if that's that moment.
I thought,
but how dope would that have been to see, right?
Right.
I thought Voldemort couldn't use spells on Harry because their wands were twins, or is that only in a duel?
I think it's only in a duel. I think Voldemort's like, did the backhanded weasel thing and just tried to surprise kill.
Here I am, poop, didn't see me behind you, got you, tag you're it.
Okay.
Voldemort just shows up with a gun behind Harry. So Dumbledore ends up blocking it and saving Harry's ass.
But then Voldemort and Dumbledore fight.
Yeah, it's pretty badass, isn't it?
So, do Voldemort and Dumbledore have twin wands?
No, they're
because
just
the same kind of thing happened.
I know. It
or is that
like
just,
that, and
or are they just doing magic energy wizard fight stuff?
I don't think that it's no, because it's not having the same effect like the priori incantatem thing.
Okay,
it's just that they cast a spell at the same time, and it's fighting for dominance essentially.
Okay,
but yeah, how cool were the effects of their spells? Like
the wizard fight was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice seeing wizards be wizards for once.
Yeah.
I liked that. You also
and you kind of get an idea of how powerful Dumbledore is.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I like when you get to see how powerful Dumbledore is.
Dumbledore kicks Voldemort's ass, basically. And then we get that moment where Voldemort tries to possess Harry.
Yeah.
And there are moments in this possession where you're kind of seeing like flashbacks, like memories from Harry. And then also you're kind of cutting to Voldemort just being there. And I think it's like Harry seeing Voldemort currently in present time.
Yeah.
And in those moments where we cut to Voldemort, it looks to me like Voldemort is in an R&B video. Because he's got like the low cut V-neck.
Yeah.
Isn't he just like floating
like
on a
shirt.
Yeah, isn't he just like floating on a black background too?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So Harry fights it off, the possession, and thankfully
with Dumbledore's help.
Yes, with Dumbledore's help, exactly. And then thankfully, Voldemort is gracious enough to stick around until the Ministry shows up.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so Fudge can see him.
So that they can see him and confirm that he is, in fact, back.
Yeah. So now Fudge can stop being a stupid dumbass and actually do something about it.
And also...
And he actually has the audacity to be like, he's back.
Right.
Like it's some
like it's his idea.
Like,
like, no shit, bud. We've been trying to tell you for the past 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Did the big fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore happen in the book? Like that giant fight? Like that was something else that I don't remember happening. I was like, I don't remember this big fight. And I don't remember Voldemort coming, and like I don't even remember Voldemort coming in this book. Like I just remember I just remember it being all the Death Eaters and then Sirius dying, and then I just remember like all the Death Eaters just kind of dispersing, and then like we go to Dumbledore's office and Harry like throws all of his shit everywhere and like throws a big fit and is upset, and like that's how I remember this book ending. And I'm like,
yeah, I think there was some sort of standoff between Dumbledore and Voldemort. I don't know that it was a big fight like that. I think that Voldemort's so fucking scared of Dumbledore that when he sees Dumbledore, he just dips. Like,
right.
I don't think he interacts with Dumbledore at all if he can avoid it. But yeah, I know that afterwards Harry goes back to the office and just loses his fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because he's pissed at Dumbledore for ghosting him.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed at himself and Dumbledore and Snape and probably the rest of the Order for not being able to save Sirius. And
was this the book that I was reading that I was reading this last part and Dumbledore was saying to Harry, like, back when you fought Dumbledore with Quirrell, I wanted to explain to you this, but you were too young. And then in the next book, I wanted to explain it to you then, but you were too young.
Yeah.
And then now, I want to explain it to you again. And then I had to pause the book and go to a birthday party, and I said to you in my text, I'm like, and he's gonna fucking tell him he's still too young, isn't he, Jess? Is that what he's gonna tell him? Isn't that this one? Is that this one?
This one.
Yeah, and I don't remember what Dumbledore ends up telling him. But it's not in the movie.
I believe this is when Dumbledore tells him about his love skin.
Oh, yeah, this is the love skin thing. Yeah, that's right. The love skin thing. Yes. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, the book, and then the book ends, and then the movie ends.
Yep.
Yes, the movie. We're in the movie.
Yep, we're in the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like the movie ends kind of like, and Voldemort, what we've got, that Voldemort doesn't got, is friends. It's like freeze frame. Let's all get on the choo-choo train.
So yeah, that was it.
Hooray.
So, guys.
Yes. Is it time?
It is time.
For what?
For
Yes?
the 4 R's of podcasting.
Whoa. Hey, Jessica.
Yeah.
What are the 4 R's of podcasting?
So the 4 R's of podcasting are tasks that you, the audience of podcasting, can do for us, the podcasters.
Yes.
You, the podcastee, can do for us,
Exactly.
the podcasters.
The first R is to rate our podcast on the podcasting podcast.
Only on Apple.
I've heard them referred to as podcatchers before, which I kind of like that
that's
term.
a good name, actually.
Yeah.
A podcatcher is somebody who listens to a podcast?
A podcatcher is a thing that plays podcasts.
The site that posts
like the app.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So find us on like iTunes, wherever you're listening to us now.
Yeah.
There's probably a place for you to rate this podcast. Do that. It's the first R. What's the second R, you ask?
What is the second R?
That is to review.
Yeah.
Is the second one.
Yeah, it is.
In the order that I created, so I should know
Yeah,
this.
you made up these 4 R's.
In that same place that you just rated, there is probably a space for you to leave a little tidbit, a little nugget of text.
Just a little
Do that.
one.
Yeah. Something nice, please.
Yeah, something nice or something constructive.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both. Or an emoji.
Or just put a smiley face.
Because people will read that, and then they'll see how cool we are, and they'll want to listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then the third R is subscribe.
Yeah.
That is where you find that little subscribe button on the podcatcher that you're listening to.
Don't be
Yeah.
confused when you see that subscribe actually starts with the letter S, not an R.
Yeah, the R is silent. Don't worry about it.
And also invisible.
Yeah.
Yes, it's invisible. Hit that little button, and you'll be alerted when we have new episodes out.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be,
Yeah.
right on top
Yeah.
of hearing every update.
Yes.
So if we happen to update, late, like we sometimes do, you
We
will
do.
be aware of when it finally comes out. Or if we happen to change and go back to like a more than bi-weekly thing, then you'll also be aware of that. So, yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
That fun.
This quarantine is kind of boring. We might do weekly for a while.
Maybe.
Right? it's the only opportunity we have to talk to each other. So
Really, it is. It's all we got.
There's that, yeah.
we might. And then the fourth R is to recommend us to a friend, a family member, a coworker, some stranger on the street, some guy you don't like.
Yeah, but make sure that you're 6 feet away from them when you do it.
Yes, please do that.
Yes.
Take it, write it on a piece of paper, ball it up into a little ball, and throw it at them.
Yeah.
From 6 feet away.
You know, hey, you know how all those videos show people in Europe like out on their balconies singing?
Yeah.
I want you to open up your back window or your porch or like an upper floor window, whatever you got that's balcony like. The most balcony like space in your house. Go to that, open it up, and just scream our podcast name at your neighbors.
Your princess is problematic! People are like, no, your princess is problematic.
Yep, just do that. That's recommending, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Perfect.
Just do those 4 things, and then we'll thank you forever, because that's how we grow as a podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Okay, now it is also time for the next segment.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Fumicas. Nailed it.
I think it's a perfect little song.
So I've got a couple questions for you.
Hooray.
So first up, I've got a Would You Rather
Okay.
villain version of this book. Let's see. Would you rather encounter Voldemort and duel him, much like Harry does in the ending of this book? Or would you rather endure an entire school year with Umbridge?
Yikes. Wow. I think I'd take Umbridge on for a school year because I am a lot like Fred and George, and I feel like I'd just be like, yeah, fuck you, and just fuck with her. And I don't know. I don't see myself as becoming a powerful wizard type enough to take on someone like Voldemort. I see me being more like a Fred and George type of wizard who would learn how to do magic for fun and not be very serious about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I have physically the reaction time to like be able to win in a wizarding duel, but I am a plotter. I could plot how to really fuck up Umbridge's life on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you there.
I think I would rather have a quick battle with Voldemort than endure an entire school year of some bitch making my life miserable.
You don't want to have to write with that shit in your hand.
I mean, honestly, a whole school year without Umbridge is almost bad enough that I would take the duel. Just school in general.
Right.
Again, would suck. All right. I've also got some traditional Fumicas.
And a traditional Fumica.
So first up, it's the slightly less traditional because we're going with an age-appropriate version.
Is Harry Potter's neck in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Technically, I guess Harry Potter's neck is in it, yeah.
Perfect.
So out of the kids in Dumbledore's army, and we'll just go with the six, right? At the end?
Sure.
Harry, Ron, Hermione, Neville, Luna, and Ginny. Out of the 6 of them, who would you date, BFF, or kill? We'll go with kill, because I don't have a PG alternative to that.
Do I get to date the really hot version that Neville is now?
No, this is if you were their age.
Fine. Okay. I feel like I would BFF up with Ginny. She seems really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself becoming more and more attracted to Ron the more we've gotten to know him throughout the series. But I can also see myself getting into Neville, honestly. Probably because I know he gets hot later in life, but also, I find myself attracted to the underdog in general.
That's fair.
So I could see myself helping Neville come out of his shell and whatnot. It's a specialty of mine. I bring boys out of their shells. And so I don't know. If I were to choose between Ron or Neville to date, or would I be friends with Luna? I also like the eclecticness. No, I'd be friends with Ginny. I think Ginny. No, Luna. I don't know. This is a really hard question. I'd kill Hermione.
Wow.
She's annoying. Granted, it'd be good to have her as a friend, as an informant friend to have for sure. But yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at. Either friends with Luna or Ginny, and either date Ron or Neville. Yep, that's just where I'm going to leave it. I don't know.
All right. I think I would BFF Neville.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would kill Ron. Because Ron, I feel like Ron has gotten super annoying in the past couple of movies, and I don't really care about him
Movie
anymore.
Ron sucks right now, yeah.
He does kind of suck.
And then date, I don't care for Luna that much. I don't really know anything about Ginny. She seems cool, I guess. And Hermione's kind of annoying, so I guess I would date Ginny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Nice. Knowing my type back in high school, I would have wanted to date Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can see it about you.
Dark hair, glasses was definitely my vibe.
Mm.
Although at the same time, Harry Potter is also who I would choose to kill. So having a bit of a conflict of interest there. Yeah, weird. I think I would probably kill... Okay, if I were answering as me when I was this age reading this book, I would date Harry, kill Ginny, and be BFFs with Ron or Luna.
Why would you kill Ginny?
I hated Ginny back then.
Yeah.
She annoyed me.
She doesn't bother me. She just shows up all the time. She just shows up randomly.
Yeah,
she's kind of like
she doesn't bother me now.
Yeah.
That was just, when I was this age reading it, that's how I felt. Now, I'd probably say date Ron, be BFFs with Luna still, and kill Harry. Just kill Harry.
You don't want to make out with that neck?
No, that's your thing.
I'm going to look at a picture of his neck right now. I'm just going to pull that up.
I want you to compare his neck to Neville's neck.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe. Oh, look at his neck now. Anyway, go on.
All right. So, I'm also going to do Fuck, Marry, Kill with the bad guys of this movie. The main ones that we've seen. So that includes Voldemort, Bellatrix, Umbridge. I'll include Fudge in this as well. And we'll also include Daddy Malfoy. Lucius.
I would totally fuck Bellatrix. I have always liked her. I like her. Helena Bonham Carter. Like, I don't know.
Is it Helena Bonham Carter that you have a crush on, or Bellatrix?
Both. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I've always found her as a weird, eccentrically attractive lady. I like her. Okay. I don't know. I think she's just a funky looking lady, and she does it for me. But as Bellatrix, though, she evil. Like, I want to kill her.
They're all evil.
I mean, yeah, I want to kill them all. I want to kill Voldemort because he was really his face with his smushed, nosy mouth situations is really yucky and weird to me. I want to kill him.
Okay. Legit.
And what's my other one? Marry? I have to marry one of these guys?
Yeah. Yeah, you're fucking Bellatrix. You're killing Voldemort. Now pick one to marry.
Who else is left?
Fudge, Lucius,
Umbridge.
I kind of want to, like, brush Lucius's hair.
Yeah.
I kind of want to marry him. Is that weird?
No, he's also my marry pick because, one, he's rich.
Right.
Two, I think that our personalities would be like clash for dominance, but I think I could eventually become the alpha in that relationship.
I could see that about you too. Yeah.
And essentially bully him into doing what I want him to do and being better.
I could see that.
So yeah, and also he's pretty. Also, it's kind of like my dream to marry a gay guy that just provides, like, you know, we share our finances and stuff like that, but then we each have a boyfriend on the side. I feel like that would be the setup there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would kill Umbridge, and I guess fuck Bellatrix.
Right?
I am not fucking Voldemort for sure.
No, yucky. Tomas.
All right. I would fuck Bellatrix.
Right?
She's yeah.
See, you guys know.
The crazy ones are probably really good at that.
She's probably great.
And I would also marry Lucius. And I would kill Fudge.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Just because he's stupid and annoying and obnoxious.
He's abusing a position of power, so yeah get rid of him. Get him out of here.
Those are my answers.
Nice. I like it. All right. Do you guys want one last one, or are you done for the night?
I'll take another one.
Could do one more.
Okay. So it's a little pop quiz.
Pop
quiz.
Nikki inspired me.
Oh.
Piap quiz, as Nikki would say.
Piap quiz.
Or a pippity poppity quizzity, as also Nickety would say.
Look at Thomas has his pen out.
Nice. You probably don't need that.
Okay.
Put your pen down, Thomas.
We've got two ways to do this. I've got a list of spells that were used in wizarding duels in this movie, and also I think previous movies. I can either give you the name of the spell and you can tell me what it does, or I can tell you the effect of the spell and you can tell me the name.
Oh, I would do better with you tell me the name and I guess the effect.
I know you would both do better with that. That's the easy route. Do you want the easy route?
No.
I'll switch it up occasionally.
Okay, so
how about that?
Okay. These are all just dueling things. These aren't like random one incantation things we've heard in general.
No, it's mostly they've been used in duels. They're not like super hardcore spells. Most of them are defensive spells.
I'm not going to do well on this at all.
Suck it. All right. So, how about an easy I'm going to throw you an easy ball, softball. Stupefy.
It's the stun spell.
It is the stun spell. Good job, Thomas.
But also apparently it throws them back. We
don't talk about that, Thomas.
No.
We pretend that didn't happen.
Is this that thing in the Harry Potter movies where all the spells do the same thing?
Yes, that is the thing. Yep.
Okay.
It's very confusing.
That's the exact thing. So good job knowing, despite that stupid movie rule. How about Expelliarmus?
Oh, that's the one where it flies out of your hand. If it takes the thing out of the other person's hand. Oh, it's the
disarming one.
Yeah.
The disarming spell. Yeah. Exactly. C. How about the spell Reducto?
See, I feel like that is a reduce spell. It should make things smaller, but I think that's what Ginny used to make the thing blow up.
It is breaking
the blow up
breaking
spell?
or shattering spell, yes. Reduce it to smithereens, essentially.
Yeah, to reduce it to its components.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's see. Petrificus totalis.
Totally petriculous.
Nailed it.
Petriculous? What?
Is it the petrifying? Is it petrifying?
It is petrifying.
Yeah.
Good job, Thomas. And
Thomas isn't even reading the books. He's just doing this from what he hears in the movies, and he's doing better than me.
Well, and also it's a little bit of knowing the Latin base for some words.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to tell you what the spell is, and you try to tell me the name or the word. It's a shielding spell. Patronus. You know what? You were actually... I thought you were going to get it for a second. because you were very, very close.
Prego. Protego.
Protego, yes.
Protecto.
Yes.
The one that
Yeah.
sounds like pregnant and prego.
All right, one more spell.
Okay.
We see Looney use it.
Okay.
And that is the one that is supposed to send somebody flying back. Or flying into the air. Do you remember what she says?
Oh, it is.
Is it Wingardium Leviosa?
No.
Wingardium Leviosa.
That does lift an object, and the word is kind of used in the spell. Well,
Leviosa? Just Levio?
Levy is a part of it, but we're lifting a human.
Levihuminosa.
It's levicorpus,
Oh.
lifting a body.
Man, they literally just took Latin and just made spells with Latin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what other spells do I know? Let's see. The thing that opens the door is something that reminds me of the word Hawaii.
It is a very Hawaiian sounding thing, yes.
Alohomora. That's what it is.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm telling you, next time we just gotta do like random words that we've heard throughout, like what's a pensive and shit like that, and see like what things. Like just
All right.
vocabulary
We'll do that
words
next
that were
time.
made up for Harry Potter world and see what we know that they are.
All right, you got it.
That's what it is. That's what I want to do next time. Because
Will do.
this is hard.
All right, guys. That's it for my questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Enjoy
Which
your
means
what?
it's time for bed.
Yes. Hey, Thomas, you waking up at 6:30 for work?
Yep.
That sucks for you.
Jesus Christ.
So we sound good from Jafar. Yeah.
We sound so good
True.
from Jafar, Jafar, Jafar. We sound so good from Jafar, Jafar.
Nailed it.
That's all.
Good job, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.